Just like people witnessed the prosecutors tell us good people that they were using the R. Kelly playbook to get Diddy, just like all of these attorneys started to emerge giving their 2 cents on the Diddy case, even though they dropped the ball in R. Kelly's case, we should have known that we was going to see some of these bad actors reemerge and put their 2 cents in on this whole Diddy situation now that he's been sentenced. And people are doing exactly as I suggested, comparing the obvious difference between what happened in R. Kelly's case and what happened in Diddy's case. So of course we're going to have a bad act witness from R. Kelly's case come in and try to compare what she feels is a similarity between the two, and then try to drive home the narrative that, again, they feel like both are predators based on these grown women and their opinions of the things that they voluntarily did. Yet the most critical difference between R. Kelly and Diddy is how they allowed these people to sit around and play with this age factor, and then play in the people's face when it came to this abuse of authority narrative that they were pushing when it comes to these celebrities. Never mind that these people would not be gravitating towards these celebrities if they were an average Joe. They most definitely wouldn't have been doing all the strange things they were doing for an average Joe. So you would have to miss an average woman who can sit out here and see the play with these Me Too candidates who came out here ushering in this movement that clearly showed the hypocrisy within the industry. Stay tuned as we unpack, because again, you didn't see them bring out all of those black faces that they ushered over all these platforms with R. Kelly, but they did bring back a relatable face to mesh in with Cassie, huh?
Welcome to Prima Donna News, where I'll be giving you all of my commentary regarding all of the trending topics that I find interesting, as well as break through all the propaganda surrounding Robert Sylvester Kelly. If you haven't already, make sure you check your notifications to make sure they're set on all. That way you're not missing any of my uploads. Make sure you like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't already.
I don't need a like to get it poppin', but these bitches in my business come me out to choosing violence. If you see me out in public, you don't know me, keep it silent. In the bedroom, I be screaming, but outside I keep it quiet. You know what I'm saying?
Now, one thing's for sure and two things for certain. If you've been a day one on my channel, you would have to be crazy to think anybody coming into this whole topic could shape my perception about the things that I researched and provided to you all in real time so that you could unravel the lies being told over and over again on these platforms from many different avenues, even the people who claim to support Robert Kelly. You would have to be crazy to believe all these hyped up individuals trying to give credit to this so-called history of misconduct, history of abuse, and not, again, see all of the hypocrisies that came out, especially when certain individuals who had a very big hand in all of the things that happened to R. Kelly years and years ago, who reemerged with all of these stories, that reemerged with these GoFundMe ideas, and who gave these super fans the impression they could play with me. But the gag is, regardless of who you decided to follow, who you decided to like, all of the fraud and corruption was here on open platforms that anybody could have dug into. All of the coercion tactics that we saw prior to this case being manufactured, and all of these bad actors coming out here and exposing the blueprint and then confusing why people decided to screenshot and record all of the moving pieces that expose the flaws within these people coming out here to expose each other, expose these witnesses, expose their storylines that were put on Surviving R. Kelly, expose this man's janky ass defense, expose his support team. Meanwhile, the people on the outside world who weren't being exposed to all of this information that was being uncovered get to read all of the media headlines, follow all of the salacious details from these fraud-ass individuals, and then turn a blind eye to how they try to pop back out with these bad act witnesses in R. Kelly's case who still trying to get their restitution, even though, again, the hypocrisy within that, if they claim they want to be on these platforms to expose to the world all the janky stuff going on within the industry, even though we can clearly see these people giving their voices weren't even part of the industry. Unlike some of those in Diddy's case, they didn't have careers but want us to believe, oh, we had these dreams of being a superstar, and skip right on past the fact that, again, how does that make it R. Kelly's fault and make him abuse his authority when people are trying to use him, act like he's a gatekeeper, and then skip right on by the ignorance in putting all this propaganda together just to march to Sony talking about mute R. Kelly, knowing that was never anybody's objective, when I clearly put on display my opinion that it was all to strategically and financially attack this man, knowing how they were going to pile up all of these cases. So when it came to reading all these tell-all books and unfolding all of these stories that the prosecutors were able to build on to get these people to get on these platforms and corroborate, to get people to lie, to push all of their so-called evidence on these platforms, to get all of these people who claim to support R. Kelly on deck with putting so much information out here that it would cloud anybody's common sense to just go back to the previous case. Look at all the articles that were being put out here by people like Jim Derogatis. Look at the fact that people like Cash Jones came out here and told us this, and that, and confuse a person like me who has a specific position when it came to how these charges were being manufactured right in our very face. The fact that these people boldly came out here and told us they had access to these witnesses, they had access to all these individuals, to the evidence and all this other stuff, to the storage. And yet when we put on display the corruption, the misconduct that was allowed within these prosecutors and special agents watching these platforms, you would have to be foolish to miss the biggest comparison when we want to act like we're putting focus on the music industry as a whole and these so-called predators, and skip right on by these predators that are preying on these celebrities. Think of it like this. The same way they went to CNN with their propaganda to instill in people's head how abusive and violent Diddy was with that tape of him assaulting Cassie, think of it like this when I pointed out to you the red flags of an individual named Michael Avenatti being able to run on to CNN with what they claim was supposed to be CP, show it to this person says they can't see a minor on the tape, and people keep manufacturing these narratives. People skip around the implications of other celebrities who got thrown in the mix of this R. Kelly saga, and people avoid talking about the hypocrisy that I've been putting on display when they want to gravitate towards certain so-called accusers to paint a narrative. Like I said, it was very convenient for them to go get old Lizzette Martinez because now they want to compare with Cassie in this Diddy situation. So since they want to bring back old Lizzette, why don't some start bringing their attention back on people like LaToya X, who it was brought to me that this person was trying to coin or claim a book that Cash Jones claims she penned that started a whole lot of mess as a R. Kelly tell-all, and then tell us good people that individuals went to Lifetime saying that she was R. Kelly's publicist, spent all these books as a mole as R. Kelly's publicist just to find out she's sitting over here playing in all the people's face, flip-flopping with her stories. So here go the ultimate gag as I read this article that they put out here after they interviewed Lizzette Martinez, because it's very coincidental. All this time she been on these platforms, we ain't never heard no story about her being allegedly in the situation where she could have been at a Diddy party, especially when she was a minor. Let's think about this. If she's talking about she was potentially in a position to be at a Diddy party, and we know that at that time period she wants to present as a minor, the obvious gag is the fact that even the people that want to still say bad things about R. Kelly yet defend Diddy, you should see what I'm cooking up over here when it comes to the hypocrisy. You're not going to sit up here and tell us that R. Kelly is a pedo. You can't sit here and run to the grand jury and present that this man is sadistic. He's preying on kids. Parade all these adult women on these platforms. And to this day, we have the audacity to compare the sentencing between R. Kelly and Diddy. But let me just pause right there, and I'm going to take you back because people confuse why I didn't believe none of these people that came on these platforms without doing my own homework about all of them. And obviously that made people feel some type of way that they couldn't get on my platform and just put out all these lies like they weren't involved in this man's original case long ago.
We heard from a former employee of R. Kelly who said at first she did not want to believe that it was him. Lindsay Perryman worked for Robert Kelly on and off from 1999 to 2006, doing everything from cleaning floors to handling the defendant's personal business. She told the court that included driving the alleged victim in the now infamous sex tape to and from his Olympia Fields home. She also testified to often seeing the girl at Kelly's recording studio, sometimes carrying a pillow and an overnight bag. The image that I saw looks exactly like Mr. Kelly, Perryman said, then IDing the female on the tape, citing her facial features and her cheekbones. During cross-examination, defense attorney Mark Martin inquired about Perryman's purported master's degree from a recording conservatory in Arizona, a degree she said took only months to acquire. I didn't go to Oxford or Harvard, no, Perryman replied. Also taking the stand was Jada Burnett, a family friend of the alleged victim. She said the female on the tape was about 12 or 13 at the time and noted her distinctive cheeks and facial structure. However, that's as far as she could go. Here's an exchange during cross-examination by defense attorney Sam Adam Jr. At some point, you'd have had to have seen her naked. You were so close, right? I've never seen her naked. 22-year-old Raven Gangler testified as well, saying the girl on the tape was her friend from junior high. She said that was something that was absolute and said the alleged victim was very proud of her relationship with R. Kelly. R. Kelly sat expressionless through most of the day's proceedings, and occasionally he would whisper something to attorney Eddie Jensen. If convicted, he could face up to 15 years in prison.
Now I hope y'all paying attention, cause I'm finna show you exactly how to dog walk a dumb bitch that wanna team up with these people for these united fronts and wanna skip around again. Like I said, these people deliberately brought all these personal dilemmas to YouTube, played all in R. Kelly's case. Now they want to backtrack all of the things that they put out here publicly, try to make Dana look crazy as hell, and then skip the major point in why I documented all of this. Because like I said years ago, what does it say about these people who didn't say boo about all the janky stuff that I specifically pointed out, who turned against me just to run with these people literally doing the same thing to me that you watched them doing to Dana because they don't like him and confused why I'ma stand on 10 toes when it comes to my research, cause I ain't getting in the mix of the personal bullshit when these people told y'all for years they had all the information to free R. Kelly. You watched them do the most as they claim they were trying to get information just because they stupid ass can't read. Somebody make this shit make sense. So when you have a federal agent investigating specific individual and then you have them coming on these platforms lying time after time after time, and you have these outsiders in these different sectors tell you they ain't even interested in this whole tracker situation, and I lay out to you the blueprint and how, like I said, none of this stuff had to escalate to the point that it did. The same people that was giving Dana information was spreading it all out here. But again, it was up for the content creator to research it themselves. Now, obviously, if you was watching me unpack my research in real time, it should be very clear by now why I don't let the people watching in the bushes feel like they could sit over here and dictate who I expose and who I talk about at any given moment, when they will ignore blatantly what I show them and why I could never take none of the things they participated in seriously. Especially when you think back and realize that all the stuff that they wanted to be exposed that actually wasn't in the paperwork, that still got them beefing to this day and going back and forth with what they think they're going to get a response from me about, should also give insight as to when y'all ask them specific questions, all they can do is deflect. They can't point you in the paperwork where you can go and find this. They don't want to talk about the things that were put in the paperwork with those that they wanted to so vehemently defend on these platforms while throwing R. Kelly under the bus. So to wrap up my thoughts about this article that I'm about to read to you, that's how I feel. Now, at the beginning of my research, it was the propaganda that caught my attention. Just like this type of stuff that's put out here and the people eat it up and get to running with their conspiracies, right? Well, all those conspiracies allowed people like Lizzette Martinez to be able to come out here and position herself as a survivor of R. Kelly's so-called abuse, and everybody skip all the facts that were exposed about her by people that they befriended and tried to recruit to keep pushing their lies. Let's take a listen to the things that were put in this article. Now, maybe I'm tripping, but with all the things and all her story times, I might have missed her connection with this Diddy saga. Because according to her, in the late 90s, she had an encounter with Diddy in which she almost attended a party. And even though she was a minor, somehow she decided not to go to this party. So now that is the prelude to open up her opinions to give her story time and reflect on the comparisons between R. Kelly and Diddy. Now, according to Liz Martinez, her insight not only highlighted the pervasive issues of power dynamics and manipulation in the entertainment industry, but also served as a call to action for survivors to speak out against their abusers. That's mighty funny when they gonna speak out against who they claim abused them, run to the record label who they say financed them, then run back and say, I need some money. Now, clearly, I wouldn't have an issue with people who wanted to get settlements and get restitution and things like that. I do have a problem with people being able to double dip and manipulate the laws to wage war against these attorneys to get the assets that they've been working so hard for over all these years, then try to flip the script and give this whole narrative that they used their whole career to abuse so-called minors and not present one on the stand. According to this article, her story begins with a seemingly innocent compliment from Diddy, who remarked on her pretty eyes and invited her to a party. It's kind of funny considering how she blatantly lied about R. Kelly, talking about he wrote "You Are Not Alone" about her goofy ass when we know that was a damn lie. But let's continue. Reflecting on that moment, she expresses relief, stating, "I really dodged a bullet." This sentiment encapsulates the precarious nature of interactions with powerful figures in the entertainment industry, where charm can often disguise predatory intentions. Can you not say that can go on both parties? Martinez draws a stark parallel between Diddy and Kelly, suggesting that both men share similar predatory behaviors. She describes them as predators who manipulate their victims by dangling career opportunities in front of them, using their power to exploit vulnerable individuals. The allegation against Diddy have surfaced amidst a broader cultural reckoning regarding actual misconduct in the entertainment industry. High-profile figures are increasingly being held accountable for their actions as survivors find the courage to share their stories. Is that really true? Because if you recall, at the height of the Me Too and Time's Up movement, it was a whole list of people that were supposed to be clocked on this whole agenda. But all the focus, in my opinion, seemed to have shifted to people like R. Kelly, to people like Harvey Weinstein, to other individuals, as people like Diddy sat back and thought, "Oh, I'm Mr. Untouchable. They not gonna get me," while other celebrities such as Kanye West accused Diddy of being the feds. I can't make this shit up.
Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these niggas. All you fake hard niggas, fuck you. Hold on. Okay. All you fake hard niggas, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck because you can't shoot nobody anyway. And the reason why you got to talk is because you did a deal, you fucking fed. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to come at me, because part of the deal for you to be able to do all that and get out of jail is that you promise that you gonna go pull my co-car. So y'all niggas shut the fuck up about me. Now let me say it calm. You niggas shut the fuck up about Michael. Right. I'm Michael now. Right, Every Michael you can think of, but mostly Godfather Michael now.
That clip ain't gonna never stop being funny, especially when people watch Kanye West pop out at the Diddy trial. He ain't had that energy for R. Kelly, but like we saw, people always want to gravitate towards name-dropping R. Kelly when they find themselves in the hot seat, when people start to look at the hypocrisies of the things that they spew out and then want to sit here and support this person while turning a blind eye to the corruption that I clearly said would affect all these people in the industry, right? But yet another point that I made, that these people couldn't even get the basic lie together. Because if you paid attention to the clip from the previous trial, didn't they say the girl was 12 or 13? Then they had to keep flip-flopping. Oh, she was 14. She was this age. Oh, I was able to recognize her because this is this person's niece. And all of this bullshit that led people away from asking about the chain of custody, which was the issue I've had all this time. Yet, obviously, people don't want to discuss all of the verifiable facts that they can talk about as much as they want to sit over here and talk about bloggers. Martinez comments on Diddy resonate with many who have experienced similar situations where the allure of fame can cloud judgment and lead to dangerous encounters. So who's the fool to sit up here and put themselves in dangerous situations trying to chase celebrities, then try to brainwash the public into thinking, oh, we should just give them the benefit of the doubt that they telling the truth, even though they don't have the evidence to back up their stories. Her perspective sheds light on the mechanisms of manipulation that often go unnoticed, emphasizing the importance of listening to survivors and believing their account. Oh, you a goddamn lie. Because from what I see, her perspective sheds light on the hypocrisy of accountability within all of these people who want to build on these narratives that nobody wants to protect the black woman, but nobody has common sense to realize that people should be advocating and giving advice on the do's and don'ts, and they will maybe be taken a little bit more serious than trying to spread this victimhood mentality with all of these people who have no problem being flued out. And just as I spoke on earlier in the video with the whole point in them taking that footage to CNN when it came to Diddy is the same tactic they use with R. Kelly in the fact that she brings up, oh, she saw the disturbing video that surfaced in 2016 showing Diddy doing this and that, and she can't unsee all that she saw. So imagine all these people that claim they saw this so-called freaky deaky tape back then, and they were under the impression that this was the person on the tape per all of their propaganda. You would be foolish to run with those who feel justified in the way they had to structure these charges, strategize to get this man, and even double the sentence he would have got way back in 2008, considering he was looking at 15 years then, and what they give him this time? That old 30 piece. Yet somehow, R. Kelly was trafficking because they want to keep building on this narrative of him abusing minors. They look over here in Diddy's case, he wasn't trafficking because these people were willing participants. And when we demonstrate that even if R. Kelly was with some of these women, they were willing participants. So the fact that the government was able to coerce them, all of these people pushing their storylines were able to tamper with them, manipulate them, and feed off of their so-called trauma. That's the gag for me when people want to type up all these articles and put half-truths in it, and then people confuse that my point of view is not going to change regardless of who says what, when I know exactly the levels of corruption that we witnessed on these platforms be allowed in R. Kelly's case that definitely didn't affect no damn Diddy. Now, with all of that being said, what are your thoughts about Lizzette Martinez's little segment in this Diddy special? What do you think about the similarities and the differences between each case? Why do you feel like it was necessary for these people to go so hard trying to prove their case on social media when it came to R. Kelly? Yet when it came to Diddy, we didn't see all these people doing all that meddling. We didn't see no confidential leaks. We did hear talks of a burner phone being recovered with Diddy that we damn sure didn't see happen with R. Kelly, as people tried to implicate this as a possibility. Do you believe that, as Bo put in his paperwork, that they have sufficient evidence to prove that Larry Snitch-9 McGee and company helped to tamper with not only Azriel Clary in the New York case, but Rashona Landfair in the Chicago case? Review the video and tell me, why do you think they didn't use the same friends of Rashona Landfair that they used in the 2008 case when they brought these other so-called friends that definitely wasn't on the stand back then? Why do you feel like people don't want to review the past to get to the truth? Will people keep skipping over the fact that after all the work they did to get Rashona Landfair on that stand in Chicago, how ironic it is for old Young T Sparkle to come out here and accuse her of perjury, and nobody want to look back at all those transcripts of all those bad act witnesses they lined up against Robert Kelly instead of playing with me on this internet and realize a lot of these witnesses they use, if not all, can be charged with perjury and many other crimes that they actively participated on these platforms. Now, drop your comments below, because I can't wait to see what you think about this, because there's a lot of things more that I could have included, but I'll just leave at that.
I said, listen, the truth gonna come out, goddammit. You keep on fucking with my daughter, the truth is gonna come out. You need to fucking leave her alone.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, hold on. Back up. So Tamara knows already?
More for him in 4 years that I've seen anyone do by standing up for what is truthful and what is right. That man said that this man says that R. Kelly deserves a fair shake and a new trial. And once this information reaches CNN and all over the world, it's going to benefit him.
Absolutely.
You let me tell you about my life, my dreams. Not talking about no fancy diamond rings. I'm in the kitchen whipping up the sweet. Gotta hustle hard, stay on my feet. Flower power, sugar rush. Gotta make that dough, that's enough. Batter up, watch me go. Taking all day, that's all I know. Batter up, my show. Stacking that bread, watch my business grow. Oven hot, gotta keep it precise. Cookies, cakes, everything nice. Frosting smooth, gotta make it gleam. Living that sweet, baking dream. Flower power, sugar rush. Gotta make that dough, that's enough. Batter up, watch me go. Making all day, that's all I know. Batter up, it's my show.
Time has come for this cookie. Nom nom nom. Oh, nom 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 nom. Ha. Bye bye.